We're here on the EURAUD 15-minute time frame, and this is another head and shoulders that's set up. You can class this as a structure trade as well, just depending how you look at it. If you're following me on these videos, you'll notice this is the second time I've entered in a head and shoulders in the past couple of hours on the Euro Aussie, and the reason for that is the first time I hit for 17 pips. That was on the 5 range, but here on the 15-minute we're putting in a head and shoulders more like a rounded bottom, but the principle is the same. It's a pattern where you see a reversal, and I can also look at this as a double bottom with a 2618 trade entry, tweezer bottoms. So let me just delete everything off, remove the orders, and let's just talk through this trade first of all. If this comes off, this will be fantastic. This will be the same pattern, entering twice, winning twice. Got a very low amount of risk on this trade. So here on the daily time frame, and apologies if you've only just watched the video of this, which one, I'm having to re-go over and do the exact same thing again. You can see here that we haven't actually yet come down and retested the lows, so I am expecting her on the daily time frame to come a little lower. If we look at the 240 time frame, I will point out exactly what we did last time, and that was, here was our high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and we have technically not broken below this low. So here is the low of the candles. These low of the candles here come here, and that means that technically this is not a break below, close below. And so while it's an indication that we could go lower, we haven't physically broken below it. And when it comes to head and shoulders, this type of setup is pretty much what I look for. We're really right down in the wicks, or as low as we can be, and that's really for me where these head and shoulders actually happen. So here on the 60-minute time frame, I also pointed this out in the last video that we could be seeing a rally. As we see this falling channel, we could come up to retest the closes of the candles here, which we did do, so that trade obviously worked out very nicely. If we go down to the 15-minute, which is really where this head and shoulders is here, we really need to draw out structure now. If I put a structure level on here, notice first of all that we have not closed below, indicating that showing that we have actually held that level. And then what we did, we had a rally down, outside return, new structure low, outside return, new structure low. Now what happened here is we have now double bottomed. And whenever I see this on head and shoulders, I absolutely love it, because you can see first of all that we're running out of steam as we're starting to give a rounded bottom. Also, when we see a double bottom, which is a double head for a head and shoulders, it gives me a little bit more confluence, because it also means that we can look at entering in at the 618. So it gives me an area where I can look for buying opportunities. And so while I don't trade 2618 trades by themselves, I can use them as entry techniques into other patterns like this head and shoulders. And so what this means here now is that this is actually an initial structure high. So we've potentially double bottomed, not what I can trade, but we've double bottomed. We put in an initial structure high, we pull back for a 2618. We've also just put in tweezer bottoms. You can see those there. And so I'm going to be quite conservative like I was on the last trade with this, because I don't know how high we're actually going to go. So the conservative targets for me is a completion of an AB equals CD pattern. And that would mean that we're looking at profits up in this area. And so if we look left, we can see here that we have an area here that's been respected. And so it's not a bad area to look for targets. So if I just bring back on the orders, you can see we've hit that 618 fib. For me, there's no need to have my stop any lower than these tweezer bottoms, because these tweezer bottoms to me is the area that's held. We've had a long wicked candle, we've got indecision, we've just seen a bullish candle, though it's not a higher high, higher close, and so I've just gone a few pips beneath this. So it has meant that in terms of risk, we're looking at 13 pips of risk, and the reward we're looking at 47. Now I am front running this by around 4 pips here. We do have the 160-100 even handled number there, and so I don't want to play for the full extension of the AB equals CD pattern, so that's why I'm front running it there. And so we'll come back and see if we can put in a higher high here, higher high, higher close should I say, and hopefully see this thing rally on up to targets. We're back. This time we're on the 60-minute time frame, and as you can see we're currently 17 pips up. I'm showing you the hourly first. So this was the candle where we were currently trading. The following candle was a positive candle, though not a higher high, higher close, and we're 5 minutes now into the new hourly candle. So if I drop back down to the 15-minute, which is where we took the trade, we can see now that we actually, after those tweezer bottoms here, we actually put in a rejection candle, and then a few 15-minute candles later, just here, we put in a higher high, higher close. We are seeing a bit of a rejection here now as we approach these highs, but obviously this is a new hourly candle. So with most candles, just look at the wicks. Here you can see a long wick and then a pullback, a wick, 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 a wick. You know, 60, 70, 80% of these candles have wicks, and certainly when a new hourly candle starts, the way I have learned to read candlesticks is that, and don't take this as given, but just things that I pick up on, is generally if we're going to go up when the new hourly candle starts, we will go the opposite way initially, and then spend the next 15 minutes say, and then spend the next 45 minutes going up in the direction that we're ultimately going to go to. It's not proven, it's not scientific, it's not tested, it's just something that I notice and I pick up on, and it's just something I look out for when I'm in a trade, and how the hourly candle closes and how the next, you know, hourly starts to react. Do we retrace first? So just something I pick up on. So nothing's changed here. Obviously as we approach the highs here and put in a new structure high, I may be able to reduce down the stop loss, but stop loss is quite small at the moment, so I may not be able to do that, just depending how the candlestick formation is. And we're back for an update on this trade. What I've done now is just reduce the amount of risk on this trade to just about 4 pips really. As you can see, we held that that bottom quite nicely here. We are making our way up. I'm just going to remove that text message to a little bit closer. Currently 33 pips up here. Got another 14 to go. So yes, if this does hit, it'll be worth 47. We're back here on the Euro Aussie, and you can see now that we're pushing up. Currently 44 pips up. We're actually just testing the 160-100 flat. As mentioned in the first part of this video, I am already front running the order by 4 pips in front of that completion of the AB equals CD pattern. So I am expecting some resistance here, but going 4 pips past that even handled number when I'm already front running it, hopefully shouldn't be a problem. So what I'm just going to do now is go ahead and move a couple of pips past break even here. And I'm hoping that we can just spike up should I say, and go and hit these targets. And we're back, and as you can see now, I'm very pleased to say that we've rallied up and hit targets for the second time today on the Head and Shoulders for the Euro Aussie. 47 pips banked. If you like the video, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't, and don't forget to give the video a like.